You know to surround yourself with positive people, but what about having all your surroundings lift you up? If pursuit of your goals ever feels like an uphill climb that you have to power through, then stick around, because today I'm sharing how to turn that uphill climb into an express elevator to success. Hi, I'm Spencer Snakard, and on this channel, I help visionary entrepreneurs and transformational leaders like you to expand your impact while loving life every step of the way and without ever having to give up what matters most to you. You've probably heard the Jim Rohn quote that you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Yes, the people who surround you have a huge impact on your health, wealth, happiness, and general success. And there's so much more, and it goes beyond just the people you surround yourself with. But let's start there. Did you know that your friend's friend's friend, 3 rings removed from you, has an impact on you? Those impacts show up in multiple ways and in multiple areas of life. Just as one example, a study by Christakis and Fowler found that if your friend becomes obese, then in the next 2 to 4 years, you yourself are 45% more likely than chance to gain weight. Now get this. If your friend's friend, someone you may not even know, if your friend's friend becomes obese, you're still 20% more likely to gain weight. And if a friend of your friend, 3 rings out, again, who you may not know at all, if that person becomes obese, you're still 10% more likely than chance to gain weight. It's crazy, isn't it? They found similar data for likelihood to smoke and likelihood to be happy. Now, that was specifically a heart health study, but based on their results, I would guess that we would see the same sort of correlation between things like finances, relationships, business or career advancement, and more. Now, if people, including people you don't even know, are that impactful, think of the impact and influence that your immediate surroundings that you have in your space all the time can have. The thing is, we are animals. And what do animals do? We adapt. We adapt to our environment. Just like wild animals who adapt to their environment by scavenging for food out of trash cans when a developer comes along and grazes down hundreds of acres of their shelter and food sources. We adapt to our environments too. You've experienced this before, you just may not have realized that it was happening. Have you ever gone to a leadership conference or some awesome weekend seminar or retreat? And you feel completely transformed, lit up, on fire, ready to take on the world? In that space, you are sure that when you go back home, you are going to be unstoppable to implement everything you've learned and start putting things into action. But then you get back to normal day-to-day life, and before long, that fire goes out. You find that you can't seem to tap into the same energy and inspiration and motivation that you had. That's because while you were there at the event, surrounded by like-minded people and this energy of vision and possibility of what could be, you adapted to that environment. Then you came back home and you adapted back to that environment too. The energy is different, the people are definitely different, and you're surrounded by symbols and reminders, even evidence of who you were before the inspiring event. Now, this is not to say that who you are now or who you were before now is bad, but you know that to do something you've never done before, you need to become someone you've never been before. So if you want to expand your impact, reach new heights, achieve next level goals, you need to become the next level version of you. If your environment stays reflective of who you were, it's going to be a lot harder to become that next level version of you than if your environment was instead reflective of who you want to become. The awesome news is that unlike wild animals, you can design your environments to be something that lift you up, that you want to adapt into, so that as you adapt, you naturally grow and expand into that next level version of you. So just think of it this way. If you woke up tomorrow and decided you want to be a bodybuilder, would you go sign up for water aerobics at the senior center, or would you go join a gym where other bodybuilders train? It's the same idea with any aspiration you have and shaping any of your environments to support that growth. So, how can you alter your environments to lift you up so that instead of having to fight or power your way through to your goals, your surroundings can actually help ease the path on the way to your success. Well, the first thing is notice your surroundings. You got to first even be aware of what environments you're in. What water are you swimming in? What air are you breathing? Sometimes we're so in the thick of our surroundings, we don't even realize what's there that's influencing us. So start by recognizing that any and every source of input around you is one of your environments, part of your impactful surroundings. We already know people are a big player. So relationships, that could be everything from immediate, close family and friends to your more extended business or social networks. Also your physical spaces. Like for instance, if your desk has a mountain of papers on it that you need to get to, that's sort of draining your energy every time you look at it going, oh crap, I got to handle that. I got to get on top of that. Or if there are broken or incomplete projects in your home, your office, your car. Those things can be like a slow leak in a hot air balloon that are just slowly bringing you down. Also, look at your sources of mental, emotional, sensory, and spiritual input. This includes things like music, movies, TV, books, podcasts, YouTube channels, coaches, courses, anything that's feeding your mind, feeding your heart, feeding your soul. Those are things to get very aware of as far as the messages, not only that they're blatantly saying, but also that you're interpreting and taking along the way. Then, once you've identified what your surroundings are, what your sources of input are, start to assess or evaluate whether they lift you up or pull you down. Are they serving you by leading you toward what you want and who you want to become? Or are they perhaps becoming a challenge or a deterrent, something that's maybe leading you away from what you want and who you want to become? Are they high vibe or low? Are they something you feel inspired and enlivened by? Or are they something that feel like they drain your energy, bring you down, or even something that you might feel you have to protect yourself around? Now, simply noticing what you're surrounded by and how it's impacting you, whether you feel like it lifts you up or pulls you down, that in itself can be huge toward making that shift, taking corrective action as needed if you're finding things that aren't serving you, and either eliminating or changing them, replacing them with things that do. There's been all kinds of buzz in recent years about if something doesn't give you joy, get rid of it. But there's a big piece that seems to be missing from that conversation, which is what can you learn? What can you learn from what's in your spaces right now? Because all that stuff around you and your surroundings that you've either attracted or intentionally sought out and created, or perhaps you've maybe just been putting up with it and tolerating it. It all can be very revealing about the lens you see yourself and the world around you through. I wanted to just drop that one as a teaser because that can be a lot to take on all at once. So for this week's video, just start to notice what's in your surroundings and whether it's something that feels like it's lifting you up or pulling you down. Drop any questions you have in the comments thread below, and be sure to join me live next week or click the video on your screen for more on how you can learn from your surroundings as you transform them for success. And be sure to click subscribe to be notified of new videos every week. See you in the next one.